This episode of the Zach Codes podcast, I meet with the co-founder of Chonkie.ai. We talk through vector embeddings, LLMs, code editors, and a few other random topics, in addition to their cloud-hosted offering. With that being said, let's jump right into it. I haven't gotten a chance to play with it, but I was gonna say I find the separation of concerns and the code quality like really good. Did you like design all this yourself?
No, so Chonky is a project that's maintained by myself and then my friend Bhavnik. We've been friends since seventh grade. If anything, he commits more code to the project than me. So you have him to
Nice.
thank for all of that.
Awesome. How are you planning to do like intelligent chunk splitting? But then I was reading it a bunch. I see like one of the ways I was thinking of doing it is the neural chunking. That one seems pretty useful to have the LLM like split it up. In general, like your preferred chunker for like generic use cases, would you use a sentence chunker or the neural chunker?
The generic use cases, I would actually use a semantic chunker.
Okay.
And then if you have some like heading, some structure or something like that, like if you can markdown file, for example, I would use the recursive chunker. That's what I would do. But it's a good point with the neural chunker because the way we see these things going is you can have two forms of chunking. First is that you do your simple structure-based chunking, and then you have an LLM verify the split points, a merge or further chunk wherever it sees fit. And you want to do that over just giving it to the LLM directly because input tokens and latency are a factor that you want to consider as you chunk. So that's the slumber chunker. And then the second thing that we have with the neural chunker is the neural chunker is a fine-tuned BERT model. And in that case, you're actually fine-tuning a model specifically for chunking, and you do it in a way that actually keeps the cost in mind, cost and latency factors in mind. So special chunking models.
Is that one of the ones that I saw? I was looking at your Chonky Cloud. Is that one of your proprietary things you're trying to work on too?
Yeah, so in addition to the neural chunker is the open source version of that, and then Chonky Cloud has better sort of fine-tuned models on that space.
So in relation to that, I saw Void. Have you heard of that editor
I've
by
heard of
chance?
Void, yeah. I've heard of Void only. I don't know much about them though.
I saw they were also YC funded, and I was curious if you have anyone using like your code chunker or even the cloud chunker yet.
We have a few companies using the cloud version of Chonky, and some of them use CodeChunker. So, for example, like Airweave is a really, really strong company coming out of IC batch. They do search. They use the CodeChunker. And realistically, like right until now, we've seen CodeChunker be used by people for code gen applications and searching through code applications. That's kind of it. Void doesn't use CodeChunker though. I haven't talked to Void yet.
So I was just curious because I know once you're in YC, it seems like everyone starts to meet each other. It seemed like an interesting matchup, possibly.
Yeah, those guys, Void, I mean, would be an interesting matchup. We were looking at Continue as well, looking at their chunkers, see if we can make improvements to that. That's another good one. So, I mean, there's just a lot of open source projects out there that I would love to integrate with and see if we can deliver any improvements there.
Yeah, there's tons of them. Continue I used for maybe 2 years, and then
Yeah,
honestly, I find it hard to use now. Like I found more bugs lately. I don't know if you use it
really
yourself. Yeah.
interesting. Interesting. Huh? Maybe that's something we should look at. You found bugs in the you found bug continue, or you found bugs in the output it generated?
Just using it as a user, the biggest thing is when it applies diffs. I've had it, you ask the agent to do something, it's like, here's a diff. You hit apply. I've had it leave like the highlighted apply blocks, like accept and deny blocks over after you already accepted. It was kind of weird.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't use Continue as my main portal, but I'll give it a shot and we'll see if I can recreate that.
Yeah, I honestly been using Cursor so much more now. I wish there was an open source Cursor tab. Like that's the main reason I like Cursor. I don't know about you.
I mean, I like the tab. I don't use Cursor myself. I use Windsurf, but the tab
Okay.
autocomplete is, I see it, man. Everybody I hear says that the AI coding tools they prefer because of the tab autocomplete. It's not the sidebar agent, it's the tab that they cannot live without.
Yeah, for sure. Especially Cursor code has been so good. I feel like I barely use Cursor, like just tabbing for sure. Not no longer the
Yeah.
agent mode.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. That's kind of been my experience as well. And like I was on VS Code for the longest time. I was pretty slow to adopt these things, and because I was like, I have the agent in VS Code and it works just fine. And like I have GitHub Pro, so VS Code Copilot is free. And I tried Windsurf, and I was like, oh wow, okay, the tab autocomplete is game changer. That the VS Code tab is not good. So I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it just makes me sad because I'm someone who loves open source and I try to run LLMs as much as possible
Hmm.
locally, but just nothing can keep up with that right now. I have to use it. And
You have to.
it was a similar thing when I used Cloud Code. I'm like, how much better can this be than agent, like regular agent mode in these editors? But I think their loop and their tool calling, like whatever they're doing to take your input and turn it into tool calls and searches is just better than everyone else right now.
Yeah, and I think the one of the engineers in the Cloud Code team was on a podcast. I can't remember the name of the podcast, but he was talking about how like they're just using grep right now to build context, and it's like very simplistic on how they're using cloud, how they've set up the Cloud Code loop right now. So like I'm pretty excited to see where it goes because uh, I mean, dude, like for at least like to paraphrase what he said, he was basically like, "This is just the beginning, and we know where we want to improve. There's a lot of corners we cut while we made this just to release it, and like if it's that good already with corners cut, who knows where it's gonna go."
Yeah, I keep telling people if it only gets 2 times better in 5 years, it's gonna take so many junior roles and even start coming for other people. That's what I think.
Maybe to be honest with you, I feel like the requirements of the roles will just change to be more like docs heavy, architecture based,
Yeah, for sure.
like how to manage sort of the different parts of the system. Uh, yeah, I'm not. I think it'll be very interesting to see how engineering develops.
I guess in my head, I just think a lot about how when I started out, I feel like I couldn't do too much other than, crud things and learn from there. And it seems like
Yeah,
it's so good at that. And in addition to being able to just reply to PRs and have these instantly do exactly what a senior dev wants, whereas like a junior could never do that, makes me concerned. I hope there's enough jobs for junior developers in the future.
that's a good question. I feel like you will still need people, and the people will be coming out of college looking for jobs. So there's like this economics thing where it's like I need to hire people, and the people looking for jobs are mostly people out of college, and so the requirement of the roles might change. But if I'm a company again need staffing, with I'm kind of almost just in that I need to hire college graduates. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think people have to learn more architectural and decision
Yeah,
making because, especially in code, you can have an AI agent or whatever do a task, but there's always 50 ways to do everything. You need to learn what is
exactly.
actually good choices to make.
Yeah, yeah. And even like, at least in my experience, even when the agent gets everything right, like functionally speaking, it gets everything right, I still have to edit the code a little bit because either I don't like the style or because it got it right from a general perspective, but I have some like maybe specific code based specific changes that I need to make, in terms of like the data class I'm using, for example. Just because of those things, I think architecture overview, you'll just be kind of monitoring agents as a junior dev, I feel, is what's the direction we're going in.
Yeah, I think so. It's also made me think a lot more about just setting up the right foundations ahead of time. If you're using standardized stuff or good abstractions, it's easy to do these like one-off features fully. Like I was able to
Yeah.
make a few tickets in linear that we use for ticket tracking and just have it start to finish using the MCP server. And since it wasn't like having to design new abstractions, it was perfect. So those are cool and you can make it do that. But yeah, a lot more reviewing for sure.
Yeah. And the linear point is good. I actually I had similar thoughts around standard infrastructure, but I was more focused on Slack, where I was thinking, I was like, dude, all of these new AI tools just come with Slack integrations. Like Slack is getting more powerful every day without the Slack engineering team doing anything.
Yeah.
And it just makes me think that, there's a very standard set of tooling layer that is being developed because that's just what AI works with best. And I want to use AI. So like right now, I think some companies use Gmail chat, some companies use Slack, some companies use Teams, but maybe it'll just be all Slack because it's just works with everything.
I think that's where a lot of people are going. Did they
Yeah,
release an MCP server yet? I don't think they have, right?
I don't know. Slack MCP. I have server Slack. Yeah, the GitHub link is dead. It seems like tools like Cursor have a Slack MCP available, but I don't know who made it. If like Cursor made it or it's official from Slack.
Yeah, I'm just surprised they don't have an official remote one yet. Because what I've been doing is sometimes stuff isn't always in linear, but then I have it on GitHub and pull requests. I've been trying to have Claude Code combine those two, write a stand-up for me, and then if I had just a standardized Slack MCP, just one command could send a stand-up for me, which I find interesting. It's just like micro optimizations with all these
Yeah.
AI tools, which are kind of cool.
There's a company called Kestrel, Kestrl. It's Kestral.
Okay, I Googled
Kestrel.team
it.
Kestrel.team is their URL. They help with this. They're solving this exact problem. So
Nice.
I would definitely like reach out to them, check them out. I don't think they're open source. I've been trying to get these guys to be open source, but they're pretty cool.
Nice, I found it. Sweet. Take a
Yeah,
look first. Yeah, it's like making PRDs and stuff for you based on all these different things that go on.
exactly. Yep,
Nice.
exactly. Pretty cool product.
Back to some Chonky stuff. I have so
Yeah.
many random questions still. Let's see. First, I mean, what got you interested in this idea to make this?
Honestly, I was doing ingestion stuff at my old job. So was my co-founder. And kind of like we were also just building just random projects on the side. I was trying to build like Reddit, but for research papers. And so just have like research papers just pulled from archive, come in, index. And then I wanted to build a search function for that and LLM semantic search. And there was no good chunking research available for research, for these research papers. So that was my challenge with Chunky. And my co-founder, Bhavnik, he also similar thing, he was also working on a lot of side projects, writing his own chunkers the whole time, not getting the best results. Just like the millionth time, 2 millionth time he's written a chunker again. And he's like, dude, there just should just be a standard library for this. Like we should just make it once and just use it everywhere. So he kicked the project off, wrote Chunky, posted on Hacker News, got a bunch of traction. I joined soon after, and we've just kind of been working on Chunky since because we needed it. Like that's pretty much all I can say. Like I wanted to build that search function, and writing a good chunker was what was blocking me. So I helped make Chonky.
That's really cool. When I started making my little open source library, I had just wanted to be able to recall anything that I browse, like just
Yeah.
all over all time. And I didn't even think about chunking at first. This is kind of how I approach a lot of things when I'm new to it. I didn't even think that I needed to do that at all until I made it. And then I'm like, wait, if I index this giant document, it's not going to be searchable. It's too much stuff. So then I did something super naive. I just broke it by new lines to start, really, really basic chunking, and then just
hmm
indexed every one of those. So it's cool to see all the more advanced chunking that you guys are doing and make me really think more about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot of research in this space. Like similar to you, I didn't think chunking was not the first thing that crossed my mind. I initially just thought this is probably very easy to have search across, multiple complicated PDFs because everybody has search on their website. And then I realized like, actually, wait, this is really hard. And we initially, when we built Chonky, we launched with very basic chunkers, but it's kind of the thing like you build it, and we built our token sentence recursive chunker. And we're like, cool, what else is out there? Like what other research is out there? What other information is out there about this field? What are the open issues on LangChain Llama Index about chunking? And we kind of came across a lot of concepts around chunking based on that, read a bunch of papers, and just implemented that from there on.
And at what point did you apply to YC? Did you already have part of it built?
Yeah, we had the open source build. We had decent open source traction. And at some point, we were like, look, we enjoy this project. We want to go work on it full time. This is more fun than our current day job. So let's just see if we can convert it into our day job. And yeah, luckily we were able to do that.
How long did it take from like submitting to YC to get funded and be able to do that?
A week.
Wow, that's fast.
YC moves very fast. YC moves very fast. I don't know if you have an idea that you think could be like a potentially good business, but if you do, highly recommend Y Combinator. They move really fast. They give solid advice. And if if you get denied by like, God forbid you don't get denied, but if you do get denied, they give you exact reasons, and those reasons are pretty good. This was not my first time applying to YC, and I dropped my last idea because they actually pointed out a very big flaw in that, and I was like, oh, dude, these people have a point.
That's the thing with a lot of this AI stuff. I wouldn't have even built like my basic chunking thing if I knew that yours existed at the time. And I know it already existed when I built that. It's so hard to find some of these things. I don't even know like how to search for some of these different things off the top of my head. But now that I think about it, it would be easy to find. If you'd like to listen to the rest of the conversation, consider becoming a paid subscriber for $5 a month on my Substack. Appreciate your time and hope you found this interesting. Look forward to some more podcasts in the coming weeks. Thanks.